Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Javier with The Real Javier Novoa, a channel, a platform, and a modality where we apply the principles of philosophy, spirituality, mysticism, and business to rapid lifestyle transformation. We have a very big lineup of videos coming up this weekend, more on the nitty-gritty of rapid lifestyle transformation, more on to finding land, finding a homestead, and finding a way to be completely independent from the prison grid, from a boss. Today I just wanted to give you a thought. I wanted to give you a concept to contemplate. And that is the leverage of knowledge. Knowing, more accurately put. The leverage of knowing. Knowing is something greater even than faith. Why is that? Because faith is knowing something because it's highly probable of happening. At least that's the Western definition of it. Other definitions of faith is certainty, and that's definitely congruent and synonymous with the term knowledge and knowing that we're using here today. But for the majority of Western men and women, faith means belief. And belief is accepting something secondhand because you see evidence of it and that there's a high probability, maybe a 60% probability or above, that that thing is true. Therefore, you put your faith in it. However, knowing is actual understanding it and actually embodying the thing because you are experiencing it. In fact, in the Islamic tradition, there's very good terminology for this, and it's called Ainul Yaqeen. You have Ainul Yaqeen, which is the seeing, the certainty of seeing. You have Ilmul Yaqeen, which is knowledge of certainty. And this Yaqeen, certainty, is something that's very strong, and it's a degree above faith. And here's how this all ties in with our modality. You see, faith and belief is often not a choice because it all depends upon the preponderance of evidence. It all depends on the signs that are given to you. And it all depends on willpower. You have to will yourself again and again to remember to have faith, and to have faith in that thing, and to believe that thing. And you have a choice also when you have a belief. Am I going to follow my beliefs, or am I going to follow another path? Not so with knowing. Knowing, you don't need to convince yourself. You can just do it. You can know as an act of will. Why is that? Because you are knowing, and because you know that you are not separate from the thing that you desire. We're applying this now to rapid lifestyle transformation, law of assumption, and desires. You can choose to know it no matter how you feel. I can know, for example, that the curtain behind me is blue. And I can feel a negative state about it. I can feel a positive state about it. But the fact remains that I know that it's blue. We can talk about the epistemology of appearances and so on and so forth, but I don't want to get that deep. You can know that you already have your desire. You can know that you already have your wish fulfilled by doing what? By silencing the mind and by being completely present with the state of that. I tell you, you can get into the state of that no matter what your circumstances are surrounding you. We can do this right now. You have a favorite room in your house, and you might be there now, but imagine that, let's say there's a room that you love, that you know very well. You know the colors of it, you know the atmosphere, you know the furniture, you could perhaps sit down in a very comfortable chair. I want you to get into the state of that without effort right now. You can do it. You can summon those feelings because you've practiced them a lot. It's your favorite room. You probably enter it daily. I want you to just get into the state of being in that room. You can do that. It doesn't take much time or effort. And while you're in that, you have a complete knowing that you're in that state of being in that room. That's knowing. Faith, on the other hand, and belief, which is, by the way, required to manifest your assumption in the 3D, but it's not something that you consciously have to do. It will come of its own accord. But knowing can be done immediately. And the difference between these is this. When I know that I am in the state, I'm in the state right now, and I'm not seeking anything. That's the secret. That's the key. But when I have faith in it, that means that I know that there's a good chance that if I apply these processes and I do a good job at it, that it will manifest on the physical. What we're doing here at the Real Javier Novoa is cutting that out. We're getting what Eckhart Tolle called the sword of presence, and we're cutting the past and the future, and we're only allowing you to abide in the now. That's right. We've taken away your past, we've taken away your future, and we're only leaving you with the razor's edge of the now. Now, when you embody that state, you are in that state in the now. Therefore, there's no question of belief or disbelief. Therefore, you're in knowing. And ladies and gentlemen, when you get into that knowing, nothing can stop you. How could anything on the outer stop you when you are in that knowing? And that knowing has so much leverage, because everything that's talked about by the great spiritual writers in faith, you can put that to the power of 10 when it comes to knowing. And the beautiful thing about knowing is it's so much easier than having faith, because you don't have to try, you don't have to prove it, you just have to know it. Now, I want you to know that I am the man or woman that I want to be when I'm speaking from your point of view. Whatever it is that you want, whatever desire that you're bringing tonight, there's a purpose that you're watching these videos, and there's a purpose that you've joined my channel. And that's because you have some desires that you have heretofore not been able to fully complete, or you want to do it more and in a more consistent manner. You want to have results, measurable results, in a more consistent manner. Well, here's the only way to do it. Right now, without any process, without any gap, without any waiting, I want you to say and know, I am the person that I want to be now. I have the great wealth that I want to have now. And no sensory perception on the outer can tell me anything. Because I'm choosing right now to have the knowing and to have the knowledge right here in this present moment that I am it. And there's a great leverage in that. And I love leverage because I'm a currency trader. And of course, this is the most high leverage trading. Of course, it can turn against you in currency trading as well. You want to use it with caution. But here it cannot turn against you unless you consciously misuse it. Unless you use it for evil or you use it for something that you believe is morally wrong. Never do that. Always use it lovingly and always use it for good. But the great leverage of knowledge is that your focusing apparatus is now like a laser that will cut through granite. It will cut through metal. It will burrow you a path out of any obstacles. And you don't have to do that, ladies and gentlemen. It does it. The Spirit does it. Just like we talked about in the biblical story about Joshua and Jericho. Well, the spy was named Rahab. And Rahab means Ruh Ab, the Spirit of the Father. That is the Spirit of God. And the Spirit is the one that goes forward to you, and as goes forward for you, and as Joel Goldsmith said, that is what makes the path smooth, the rugged path smooth, and it also goes behind you as a rear guard. All of your future and past are taken care of by what? By you simply abiding in that knowing. Again, when the soldiers and the spies told Rahab that you're going to be spared when we go into the city, go into the building and stay in your upper room. I believe it was the upper room of that one building that they told her. So it said, don't screw around. Don't go walking around to other buildings, but rather abide in the knowing. Remain in the knowing. And this is what, in the Islamic tradition, again, faith, iman, is something that's a lot stronger than what the Western people have as a concept of faith. And that is actually going into knowing, it's going into certainty. Also in the Jewish traditions, they have this. But you go into that knowing, and also as the biblical account of the mustard seed. If you have faith the size of a mustard seed, Jesus said. What did he mean by that? He wasn't talking about physical size. He was talking about the state of the mustard seed in that it's encapsulated and it knows, it has knowing, and that is the true faith, is knowing, not just belief, but knowing. It knows that all of the details of the tree, its path, and its growth are all contained in that tiny seed, and then it seals itself in that seed. It doesn't go ask others, is this right? Should I do this? It doesn't go and tell others about it, by the way, until it's fully bloomed, but rather it stays sealed within itself, and then it allows that process to happen. That's what you have to do. Stay sealed within the knowing that what is yours is already here, and you are already embodying that. And give it to yourself many times a day. The true knower of this material, the true person who knows, doesn't just wait and say, oh, I'm bored, and when my business comes, when it manifests, we're going to do this. No. When he can't do something, he goes directly to his mind and he imagines himself doing it. And he realizes that there's no difference between the mind's directed imagination, the waking dream, and the dimension that we're on now. There is no difference unless you give it a difference. So give everything to yourself now. As Neville Goddard said, give yourself the perfume of your state many times throughout the day. Give yourself what you want now. When the desire comes upon you, your imagination and your ability to get into your state and your focus is your savior. So you can have whatever you want right now with no intermediaries, with no time, and with no space between it. Because when you get into that focal area, that area of focus, which is within your skull, which is the true you, which Marcus Aurelius talked about being like an orb, which is self-contained within itself. When you get there, nothing can stop you, and nothing has any effect upon you, and you are in the quantum, ladies and gentlemen. You're in the field of all possibilities where there's no time and no space. That's the leverage of this. And an added benefit is that whatever it is that you want physically comes in the physical a lot quicker, because you've taken the space factor, and you've taken the time factor out, and you've taken out the doubt factor. So ladies and gentlemen, know it. Realize that you can do that right now as an act of will, and you can bypass any other process. Know it, and you will have it immediately, and then see how this flowers your life with the great leverage that we're giving you on this channel of knowing. So thank you guys so much. If you appreciate our material, please subscribe and like. It's the way that we get the word out to as many people as possible. This is a global awakening, and we here at the real Javier Novoa are playing our part in that awakening. I'm doing coaching calls, ladies and gentlemen. They are dynamic. I just had one before I started this video. I have a few lined up tomorrow. If you want to schedule one, I will put my email in the description. Email me and we will schedule time, and we will together, bringing to bear my years of experience in consulting and my study of these dynamics and of these modalities, together we will create a path forward to getting everything that you want in a very short period of time. So until tomorrow, ladies and gentlemen, with great love and great appreciation, this is Javier, and I'll see you soon.